The sun was just rising over Rosario when the car pulled up to the corner of a quiet street in Barrio La Bajada. It was too early for school to start, too early for locals to gather outside cafes. The driver stayed inside. The passenger stepped out quietly, adjusting a simple baseball cap and pulling the hoodie tighter around his face. Lionel Messi had come home, not for a ceremony, not for an award, just for something he hadn't done in decades. He wanted to see his old school, Escuela Número 66, Las Heras. The building was still there, chipped yellow paint, the same rusted gate, kids' drawings still taped on inside windows. A familiar ache moved through him as he approached. The school was locked. Of course it was. It was 6:42 a.m. Messi stood at the gate, hands in his hoodie pocket, staring, remembering. That chipped wall on the right, where he used to sneak kicks against the concrete during recess. The patch of grass behind the garden, where he first learned how to pass a ball between cones made of soda bottles. He didn't expect anyone to see him, but the janitor, a man in his 60s with silver hair and a thermos in one hand, spotted him from the side lot. He squinted. "Leo?" Messi pulled down the hoodie. The man dropped the thermos. "Dios mío." The janitor, whose name was Ramon, had worked at the school for 35 years. He had seen Messi's posters, the murals, the commemorative plaques, but he hadn't seen him in person since he was 10. "I used to unlock the gym early for you," Ramon said. "You'd come in at 6:30 before anyone else, always juggling." Messi smiled. "I still remember the creak of that gym door." Ramon unlocked the front gate with trembling hands. He didn't call anyone. He didn't take a selfie. He just opened the door and walked Messi inside like he was still a student. They walked the halls together. Same cracked tiles, same faded motivational posters in Spanish. When they reached classroom 3B, Messi stopped. "This was mine," he said. The door creaked open. Desks were smaller now, or maybe he was just taller. The chalkboard was still the same one from the 90s, now covered in colorful drawings and spelling exercises. At the front of the room, something caught his eye, a display case. Inside, next to some handmade paper trophies and plastic medals, was a photo of Messi, aged 8, holding a foam ball in his lap, half smiling with missing teeth. But it was what was next to the photo that undid him. Dozens of hand-drawn notes from current students. "One day I'll be like Leo. Thank you for showing us dreams are real. I play harder because you started here too." Messi stood there silently, eyes stinging. Ramon said nothing. He just stood nearby, hands folded, letting the moment settle. "I didn't expect this," Messi whispered. "I thought they'd forget, that it would just be old news." Ramon chuckled softly. "You're the wall we measure our height against now. They never forget that." Messi walked to the display and carefully opened the case. He took out one of the notes, drawn in crayon, decorated with stars. He read it twice. Then, gently, he pulled a pen from his jacket and wrote something on the back. "Never stop playing, Leo." He placed it back. They moved to the courtyard next. The sun had fully risen now, casting long shadows across the faded paint lines of the court. Messi wandered to the goalpost. It was still crooked, still too short. He leaned against it and laughed quietly. Before leaving, he gave Ramon a hug. "Don't tell anyone," he said. "I won't, but someday they'll know you came." That afternoon, a teacher found the note in the display case. She didn't recognize the handwriting at first, but when the janitor smiled and nodded, she understood. The note was laminated and returned to the case, this time facing outward. A week later, one student, a small shy boy with messy hair and oversized cleats, stood in front of the case for 20 minutes. Then he whispered, he really came back. And that night, on the old court out back, that same boy stayed late, alone, dribbling between soda bottles, the same way Leo once did.